Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Flash episode 7 video. We got a ton of great Easter eggs. Barry Allen turned a big corner in the episode, and we totally got another Prison Break crossover. In case you didn't watch Arrow Season 2, Robert Neppert here was the Clock King, so he was reprising his character. There's also some totally awesome Harrison Wells moments that both answered and raised some more questions. Just more fun evidence to look at when trying to figure out who he is. Careful for spoilers from the episode though, in case you haven't seen it, starting with top 5 moments. Number 5, meet Blackout, aka Farouk. He's another casualty of the Star Labs explosion, but he's one of the first to demonize Harrison Wells in the eyes of Team Flash. I think being scientists, Caitlin and Cisco probably didn't care quite as much about it as Barry did. Barry has like the same alignment as Superman, which makes him a total Boy Scout. So Farouk is not the villain of the episode. Harrison Wells is, although I wouldn't call him a villain. So just some backstory on Farouk from the comics. He did work with the Rogues, but we mostly see him during the Flashpoint storyline, which is actually really cool because Barry getting his powers back in the episode looked kind of like a scene from that comic. In the context of the story of Flashpoint Paradox, Farouk is the most powerful source of electricity on the Earth. Or you could think of him as like the world's most powerful conductor, which is why Harrison Wells wants to study him. His power is one of the few things the Flash is vulnerable to. They kind of explained it during the episode. Farouk didn't steal Barry's powers, he just stole the energy that Barry generated. They made it sound like Barry's cells store energy the same way Superman's cells store solar radiation, and that's what gives them both their abilities. Don't worry about the specifics. The show's always really good about explaining the science behind what they do, so whenever Harrison Wells starts messing with Farouk's DNA, we'll get the details. For now, Farouk is just gonna chill in the meta prison. I know it seems like he's dead, but they probably would have destroyed the body if he was really dead. It's just another comic book thing, there's no such thing as true death, even though supposedly Girder died in the episode. I think what we should say is that Barry thinks that they're dead. Number 4, Barry is jacking around with his powers way too much. The Flash as a character takes himself way less seriously than, say, Batman, Superman, even Green Arrow. He's a lot more like Hal Jordan, which is why they usually only break through big mental and physical barriers after getting their asses handed to them. They're not super zen characters, so Barry getting his butt kicked all the time is a very necessary part of the process of unlocking his potential. I'll say Harrison Wells' reaction to Barry jacking around was way more subdued than I thought it would be. We saw a little bit of the real Harrison slip out when their lives were on the line. We have seen him lose his shit in front of Cisco whenever he learned about the cold gun. I mean, like, all of his energy is bent on getting Barry up to 100%. That's like the stratosphere of power where Barry can phase through solid objects, break into other dimensions, travel through time. Like you said, more speed is the key. What he's going to do with that speed once Barry achieves it is the big question. Number 3, the Clock King is back. It may have just been me, but it seemed like Robert Nepper's performance was decidedly more comic booky than when he was on Arrow. Like, it almost sounded like he developed a whole new accent. Some of his affectation sounded a little bit more like the Clock King from the animated series. He also spoke more lines out of the comics. Like, for instance, anytime he did wordplay with time and clocks, those were lines right out of the comics. Like when he said, "Time and time, wait for no man." Totally loved his performance at the police station, even though his scenes felt a little uneven with the Star Labs scenes. I think that's mostly because I'm not super connected to the Iris character yet, so when she was kidnapped, I didn't feel the same weight that I felt on Arrow when the old Count Vertigo threatened to inject Felicity. To be fair, that was Arrow Season 2, and The Flash hasn't even finished half of its first season yet, so I'll totally give Candice Patton and the writers the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it's really hard for any other female character in the Arrowverse to hold screen time with Felicity. What I mean by that is that anytime any other women are on screen with Felicity, your attention is typically drawn to her, regardless of who's speaking. Like, you're always going to be drawn to the strongest character on screen whenever there are a bunch of people in focus at the same time. Usually the camera will pull focus on whichever character is speaking and the one that they want you to pay attention to, but when everyone's standing together and it's kind of confusing, you're just kind of drawn to whoever's the most important. And in most cases, that is Felicity. Pay attention to whenever you're watching Arrow too, because sometimes they'll do that whenever Oliver's on screen too. Like, he's the lead, but they'll pull focus on Felicity, so it's like saying that Felicity is more important than Oliver, which is kind of funny. And speaking of strong females, I totally did love Iris's line when she said, "Sometimes a girl has to save herself." It's just very telling for where all the Arrowverse females are this year. Like, they're seriously stepping up their game, powers or no powers. Arrow and the Flash are just really good at doing strong women. Number 2, Barry gets his powers back and then some. Using an electrical charge to get his powers back was very similar to what happened in Flashpoint Paradox. In the comic, he had to completely recreate the accident that gave him powers the first time, and he had to do it twice, actually. They had all the chemicals like we saw in Barry's lab, and there was a bolt of electricity, like a bolt of lightning. On the show, they used the treadmill because Cisco had its power jacked way, way up. That's why he's able to run so fast on it. It has like megawatts of electricity going through it. The line that he had when he said it didn't work was another reference to Flashpoint. Remember, I said he had to get struck by 2 bolts of lightning. The first time he got struck, it just burnt him like crispy chicken. The second time it worked, and he was able to heal himself instantly. If you've ever seen The Simpsons where Homer tries to jump Springfield Gorge on the skateboard, it'd be like him failing, falling down, and then getting up and jumping it again. The Flashpoint comic in general was actually really important to this story. Farouk was a character from the story, and Flashpoint was also a big time travel story, so it's no coincidence that the TV show is pushing into time travel more, mostly via Harrison Wells and his computer Gideon, whose name we actually learned. We didn't know the Gideon name before this episode, or that it had an artificial intelligence. The big takeaway now is that Barry has more access to his powers than he ever did before. The producers said that, Barry will slowly evolve as the Flash over time. That also includes his costume too. That's right. The costume that he's wearing now is going to evolve. They're going to get a new Flash costume soon. I think they said there'd be up to 3 different versions of it in season 1. So I would expect a new Flash costume in the second half of the season. But we can talk about that after episode 9. In terms of new powers, I think on the horizon, we're going to be seeing him phase through objects. That still feels a long ways off. We're slowly closing the gap between him brushing his teeth really fast and him busting into other dimensions. There's like a lot of stuff he has to do between now and then. Like, he has to have like his big Empire Strikes Back moment where he confronts the Reverse Flash and gets his ass handed to him big time. Think about it this way, the amount Barry jumps forward in terms of ability is directly proportional to the challenges that he faces. So that means the more his ass gets kicked, or the harder it gets kicked, the more his abilities will jump forward. That's why him meeting the Reverse Flash is like one of the big turning points of the season. The producers did say a little bit about what's going to happen when the two of them meet, so I'll explain after my top 5 moments. And my number 1 moment, of course, we learned all about Harrison Wells' plan and Gideon. Lots of questions answered, but I did not feel like they significantly answered yes or no. Who is he really? They just added a little bit more evidence to the pile. Let's start with the language he used when he was talking to his computer. The future is still intact. And then when he said to Cisco, of all my inventions, the Flash is the most important. Right off the bat, I think we have a modified Flashpoint Paradox storyline going on here. Originally, the producers said that they were sticking really close to the Flash Rebirth storyline, which is a totally different series of events. So now I think it's just a combination of both. Rebirth is Barry Allen's origin story, retold. Flashpoint Paradox is a story of what happens when Barry Allen and the Reverse Flash mess with the timeline. They're both responsible for messing things up, but Barry is the one that has to fix it. After the Gideon scenes, it seems like Harrison Wells is the self-appointed protector of the timeline. He has that futuristic computer, so I think he's still either working with someone from the future, like the Reverse Flash, or he is the Reverse Flash in the future, and the version of him that we're seeing is stuck in the past without powers. I know there are some theories about him being a future version of Barry Allen that's stuck in the past without powers. I don't think that that's the case, even though he does look a lot like Grant Gustin. Time loops are really confusing, so I'll give mad props to the writers of The Flash for explaining the paradox in a really relatable way. The show will be doing time travel, they've confirmed it, like they've said, we will deal with time travel directly. I highly recommend that you go out and read Flashpoint Paradox, or watch the animated movie if you've never seen it. It's another Jeff Johns story, totally awesome. So just the fact that Wells named his computer Gideon is another big thing too. Gideon was a judge of the Israelites in the Hebrew Bible. His story is part of the Book of Judges. Gideon is also considered a saint in the Catholic Church. So this is kind of an oversimplification of his story in the Bible, but he's chosen by God to get the Israelites to believe in the one true God himself and turn away from false idols. He succeeds, but then after his death, everyone starts worshiping other gods again. There's a Flash storyline written by Jeff Johns where there's a character named Libra, who in Latin means the weighing of scales. His symbol just implies balance. It's the constellation Libra. Harrison Wells has a lot of those ideas in his character. He's not overtly bad or good. He's just trying to balance the future. That doesn't mean he's the Libra character from the comics, but it's another possibility. So here's my big question for you guys. Do you think that he is Libra, or do you still think that he's Professor Zoom? Remember, he's going to develop a method for stealing the Flash's powers, but even as evil as that sounds, he could also use that ability to steal the Reverse Flash's powers. So, not evil, not good either. So aside from all the Flashpoint and the Libra stuff, the biggest Easter eggs I saw were all the names that Harrison Wells rattled off when he was getting ready to be killed. He named Ralph Denby, who was Elongated Man, Will Everett, who was Amazing Man, Al Rothstein, Atom Smasher from JSA, Bia DaCosta, who was a hero named Fire, Grant Emerson, aka Damage, and of course, Ronnie Raymond, who we know is going to come back pretty soon as Firestorm. If you saw any other Easter eggs that I didn't mention in the video so far, just add them below in the comments. But overall, I gave the episode a solid B+. Amazing Flash storyline, but the police station Clock King storyline just felt a little uneven. I'm actually not even sure if the episode needed Clock King. Like, they could have cut that entire part of the episode out. Although Robert Neppert, always amazing. Always more Prison Break actors, please. Please bring more of them on. I love that the show has snagged so many of them. Like, half of the rogues are going to turn out to be from Prison Break. It's going to be such an amazing metaphor. My favorite actor from the episode, Tom Cavanagh, once again. Totally the most interesting character in the series right now. I'm starting to understand why he was chosen for this role, or why he chose to take on this role. Arguably, I mean, he's a big enough actor to headline his own series. Usually when bigger actors sign on for a part like this, like a smaller part, it's because secretly it's going to turn out to be a really big part in the future. We're starting to see that unfold now, but the tease is that his character is going to be much, much bigger later in the series. I'm totally feeling the Team Flash jam that Caitlin, Cisco, and Barry have going on right now. They work so well together that they feel like family at this point, just like Team Arrow. And that's the reason why I think that both of these shows are so much better than all the other comic book shows out there right now. A lot of that has to do with the actors' performances and just the chemistry they have together, but it really starts with the writers and the fact that they focus on writing for characters and not so much for the spectacle of superpowers. Joss Whedon actually had this rule about writing that was really cool. He said, fall in love with moments, as in moments between characters. Don't fall in love with moves. Moves being like the big reveal of Harrison Wells having a secret future computer. Like, that big reveal means nothing if Barry and Team Flash haven't gone through some big journey together that ties directly to the Harrison reveal. Team Flash, like I said, totally a family right now, so whenever Barry does learn what Harrison is really doing, it's just gonna have this big resounding impact, and we, the audience, will be like, holy shit. Greg Berlanti, Andrew Kreisberg, Jeff Johns, all the other writers are really good at focusing on moments. That's why, like, I would say of all the shows I'm watching right now, Arrow and The Flash, two of the most fun shows. That is why whenever they finally do reveal who Harrison Wells really is, it's not going to matter. Like, we'll just be like so taken back by the betrayal of Team Flash that it doesn't matter who he's going to be, whether he's Professor Zoom or Libra or someone else. On to big news. So the producers said that when Barry Allen beats the Reverse Flash, he's going to have his face blurred, so Barry will not see who the Reverse Flash is, and neither will we, the audience. Like, they're going to hold that close to their vest. Probably till the finale next year. Not a big surprise. He's like the biggest Flash villain in the history of everything, so of course they're going to hold that reveal off. Next week, though, is the two-part crossover, the Flaro crossover. If I have time, I'll do an extra bonus video for it. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. It's going to be like the most awesome 2-hour movie of television you've ever seen. Think of it as like a TV Justice League movie. Quick reminder, new mobile links up here. It's the same as the links that I had over here. But right now, click here to catch up on Arrow and click here for last week's Flash. Thank you so much for watching. So let's all high five. I'll see you guys tomorrow.